So this is the dashboard that you see when you first log in, when you're assuming that your broker has given you access, and if they haven't, then you would want to contact them about that, and they could send you a username and password, and essentially it gets you set up with that username, password, and link. You could get in and see any activity that's going on with that account that they've given you, that sub account. Anytime you get lost, there's a knowledge base. So if if you're wondering what needs to, what is the listing tabs about, or the leads tab, you can always hit the knowledge base for more information. We are a little bit thin on widgets right here, but we're working on adding some more details there so that you can have easily see a lot of things from the dashboard. Oh, I should also note that if you have any questions, go ahead and post those into the questions tab, and I'll do my best to address your questions as I'm going through each tab. And also note that the webinar was scheduled for an hour this time, but originally it was set for half an hour. So the webinar we should be able to wrap this up within 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So for those of you that may be expecting an hour. So here we've got the dashboard. You've got info about various things, quick links. A quick link is basically if you go to a page and then you want to create, if you'd like to create a link to that page, you can do that. Some of the pages don't have quick links, but you can just add the quick link, and then that way you can access the page easily. You can drag and drop these. Now, if your broker has given you access to your bio, and then you can come in here and you can edit all of the contact information, bio information. You can edit that. In some cases, you may not have access, so it may be something that the broker sets up for you, but you'll have access to resetting your password and things like that. Office, if you need to change the office, that's part of the bio setting. The photo, I pulled this from a local realtor, but essentially, your photo is you can upload here, and or if you have a URL, so you already have the photo somewhere, you can do that, paste that in, and then get your photo on the bio. And I'll show you that bio page in a minute. So here's where you set up your membership info, and again, this is only if the broker has given you access to modifying all your bio settings, but you can choose to display listings. Now, in a case where you may be a co-listing agent on with your broker, you can contact your broker about potentially having, especially if you don't have any listings, you could contact the broker about displaying the listings from the other agent in the office. An agent that has the listings, if you're trying to, you want to be able to promote those same listings. Let's move on to subheader. So subheader is, this is an interesting kind of feature for those of you, for agents. You basically can add this little link, this agent header ID link, to any of your office pages. So any of the links, like, let's go back here and do a search. So if I do this, and then I do question mark, and then I add, whoops, that's my webinar text. Let's go back here and see if this will copy this time. And then I go in here, I put the question mark in there, and this probably seems more complicated than it is. It's all you're doing is from this subheader area, you're looking for this little code, and once you put that code in and you put it in after the question, you put a question mark and then agent header ID. This is the number that tells you this tells the system that you just sent this lead in, or you sent this person this traffic to your broker account. And so that's how you would specify, that's how you would direct people to that search page, that brokerage search. So if you want, let's say you don't have an integrated IDX solution at the moment, or you want to be able to direct the information off to the broker and then have that lead automatically assigned to you in that account, and then be able to manage that from within IDX Broker, you can do that by adding this agent header ID information. So once I do that, I hit, let's do that again, question mark, paste. There's my page, and then I hit search. And at this point, what happens is this is the user. They've gone on to perform the search, and they go in here. Once they've performed the search, they have the option of maybe modifying the search or saving the search. So they can save the search here. And one thing worth noting too is this right here. So this isn't, I didn't make this very bold, but this is the agent subheader. Okay. So now that that subheader ID has been used and you've used that code, now your subheader is showing up on all the IDX pages. And I'll give you an example of that. So here's the subheader. It's the same subheader and it matches, right? Let's say I want to increase the font size on that. Save changes. And let's see if hopefully the browser will revise with the new subheader. So there I've got the new subheader size. So you can see that. So you can essentially make changes to whatever you want to display. You could put an image in there. You could put whatever you want in to that subheader, and then that's going to show up when you tag those pages. The system now recognizes that I was sent by AD Smith team, and then anything that AD Smith team has put in for the subheader will show up on all my IDX pages. Okay. So the other advantage of this is that if I save this search, and in this case I'm going to save a search, but I know I already have an account, right? So I already have an account. I don't want to have to see this sign up form again. So I'm like, okay, I already signed up because AD Smith really already sent me that info, right? I've got the info. I know it's under my email address, so I'll type in the email address here. I'll use help@IDXBroker, and then it says log in, and now it'll refresh, and I'm now logged in, right? So now I can log in. I can go see my account. I can see any saved searches that I have. So if I click on that, okay, and then you'll see contact AD Smith at the bottom. So in my account as a lead, I can now contact you as the agent. And the other advantage to that is that if I go to my leads tab now, I'll do that here. Now I've got, okay, there I'm set up. I've got 3 saved searches. Shows my last activity. So this is your dashboard. This is what you see. And so the lead has come in, and you can see what I've looked at. You can see if I have any property updates, any saved properties. You can see my saved searches. So I've saved a few saved searches. You can even go in as the agent, and you can edit the saved search. So you have a lot of control over what your leads are able to get, and you have a lot of visibility into the traffic without subscribing directly to an IDX service, but by going through your broker. So here you can also log in as the lead. So if you wanted to experience, what the lead experiences, you can see that here. If your lead is requesting they want credentials, you can do that here. If you want to delete the lead, you can do that here. You can see any lead notes. So you can see activity around the lead. You can see how that person signed up. So there's a lot of information here that that is helpful in terms of giving you the information that you need. Okay. So let's go back here to bio. So all of that really starts with that subheader, that agent header ID, and then creating your subheader, your custom subheader. Okay. Because then you can use any of the IDX pages. I'll just log out. I can use any page. Let's say I want to link to my broker's map search. Of course, I set up this. I copy, and then I go to the map search link, and all these links are available from your broker. So you could even go to your broker's website and just pull whatever IDX links show the IDX solution, and then from there just add your ID. Okay, and now you can see that the subheader is showing up there. And then now, if I were to sign up as a new lead, I would also show up. I would show up as under this account. So under leads, I would, as somebody who's signing a new lead signing up, I would show up under leads. So all of that starts with the agent header ID. So that's very important. Now, good question here. I've got somebody asking what happens when you send credentials. So if I'm on leads and then I send credentials, at the moment that credentials email is not it's not customizable. So you don't have a way to customize that, but you can set it up as a test. And what I would recommend is do a test where you go through the process and sign up as a lead, maybe with your personal address, especially, and then using the subheader ID. Sign up and save a search or whatever you need to do, and then send credentials to yourself, and you'll be able to see exactly how that looks, and go from there. It's a pretty straightforward email. It just says, here are your credentials, and then if there's no password required on the account, and in this one there isn't, then it won't require a password and it won't send a password. So you don't need to be concerned about the password element of that if the password isn't required, and most accounts shouldn't have that required. Okay. Yeah. So let's go back here and go back to bio. So here's actually, I'll go through the rest of these tabs before I go to the Message Center. I'm a little excited to go through the Message Center because there's so much there, and you can see all the details of messages being sent out. So here's where, again, if you have the ability to control this, you can modify your roster, how things display on the roster, set up your website URL, and have that roster page on the broker site go directly to your website. And then you can change the display link text that's used there. So just a few more things that you can customize. Property updates. Any property updates, you can CC yourself on property updates. So if somebody saves a search and then you want to CC yourself, you can do that here. I think that's set to summary by default. So you typically don't want individual emails to go out because you don't need to see every single email. Most people choose summary. That way, at the end of the day, you see all the emails that went out. The property subheader can match this subheader, or it could say something else. Put whatever you want in it. And then, of course, you can put your signature in here. And then if you want to see what it looks like, you can send to your own email address. You can just hit Send Now, and it'll send you a list, basically a sample list of property updates. And I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, by the way, when a new lead signs up, this is what you receive. You receive a little email like this that says, it gives lead information, contact information. That's instantaneous. So you receive that info quickly. And then here's back to the property sub email update. This is what the email update looks like without, without a wrapper around it or without any real design, just kind of a simple layout. And then your broker has the ability to customize the design, so they could customize the email update wrapper to give it more of a branded look. But out of the box, this is how it would look. And then here you have the subheader for your email update. So if I go here, that matches this because this is the property update subheader area. And so again, you can customize that and say whatever you want in that. So you could put your own headshot in there. You could put a description in there. You could put info from your own site, links from your own site, all kinds of things in that email update subheader. Excuse me. So that's how that works. Any languages that you speak, you can specify that here. So you can put that in here and save, and then that will show up on the roster page. So it'll show up on your office's roster page. Okay. If you have a CRM solution and like a top producer or a Tribus group, you can set that up through this. We also have a very robust API. So if your broker has resources to integrate, they can integrate with the system and and definitely kind of take the CRM to the next level, especially if they have their own resources and their own CRM potentially. So let's move on to the Message Center. So the Message Center is where you are able to view all emails that are sent by the system. So any emails that are sent on behalf of you or your account, it looks like that one isn't showing up, but let's go. Interesting. Fortunately, I'm not able to see the details on some of these, but the Message Center, and I'm not sure why that's the case. It looks like a little bug that's temporary. So, but the Message Center will display all the details, basically the timestamp, and then all the details of within the message. Change password, you can do that from here. Okay. Listings. Now this is where you can modify your listings and how those listings are going to show up on both your agent page, your agent bio page, and on the on the featured listings page for the office. And so from this you can click in and you can modify. Click here to edit the images. You can edit any details. The only time you would really want to do this is if you, let's say you have a flyer and you want to, on this page specifically, if you have a flyer and you have, you want to link to the URL and then give a name to that link, and then you want people to be able to download that, or if you want to change the status of that listing and display something other than active. So you can do that. Now our system will automatically pull that information every day. So by the beginning of the next day, that information should be updated. But if you need to do it midday, if you need to do it quickly, you can come in here and modify the listing information. If let's say you weren't able to add a large enough description, you could do that here. You could modify the description area and put whatever you want in there. There's another feature here called the Edit Geolocation, and this is really popular because sometimes the geocoding set up by the MLS or just based on the address may not be correct, and so what you may want to do is just kind of move the pin around. And let's say it's not this house, but it's this house. I can establish that here. It is this house, so I'll put it back there. But you can move that around and just be sure that after you make that change that you save it. Okay. So you can modify the listing Geo Manager or through the Geo Manager. Now the other thing you can do is you can set up captions for. You can set up a caption for properties. You can drag and drop property photos and make one property photo take priority over another. So, in this case, maybe I want to show off that it has a view of the city. So I do that here, and then now that when that listing shows up, when somebody goes to that listing, it will show that as the first image. Okay, so I was able to modify the image that shows up first. Okay, so you have a lot of control over the look and feel of those images, and so on behalf of the sellers, you can really get in and fine tune things. Okay, if there are any virtual tours, those will show up here. Virtual tours by the MLS, provided by the MLS. Same with open houses. So you'll have that information as well, provided that the MLS provides that. Now in this case, I don't have any sold pending listings, but this is really something internally we call it archived listings, because these are not sold pending listings that are provided by the data. It's actually active listings, previously active listings that have gone off market. So those are sold pending, and then they show up here, and then you can establish them as sold or pending, and those will show up on the sold pending page, your broker's sold pending page. Okay. Supplemental listings. If you have any supplemental listings, those can be added here, and you can create a new supplemental listing based on property type fields in your MLS. Okay, you just fill out the information, add the property, and then it's a supplemental listing. Pocket listings, anything off market, you can consider supplemental. So anything not in the MLS. So, and I'll walk you through I'll show you some of the links at the broker level, just so you understand how the relationship between this sub account and the broker's account works. So let's move on now to leads and talk a little bit about that. I showed you earlier how the leads work. You can flag a lead. You can see the activity. You can verify or unverify. Verify just means when you look at the email address, do I want the lead to be disabled if they haven't verified within, I think it's 7 days, or property updates to be disabled if they haven't verified within 7 days. I would recommend that you verify emails that just look like normal emails, and then what that does is it prevents the system from sending to spammy emails and then generating more spam for you. So we don't want to create any spam for you or on behalf of the account. Okay, I showed you how things look for the lead. I showed you the credentials. So we talked a little bit about this. You can if you get a lot of leads in there, you can activate, deactivate. You can do a number of things there. If you ever want to export your leads, like let's say you have a CRM system that doesn't work directly with IDX Broker Platinum, you can go to the Export Leads tab, and see if we can get that to there. So you can go to the Export Leads tab, and then from there you can export, and it'll only export your leads. And then that just gives you the ability to to export all your leads and information and so on. And here's some of the fields available. Oops. Let's go back. Okay. Here's some of the fields available. Verification status, things like that. Save properties, save search info, notes. You may want to export notes. So there's a lot that you can do with the leads once you get the information in here. So okay, so that's the overall dashboard. If you ever get lost or you need information, you can type in search there. It'll find the tab or sub-tab, and then yeah, take it from there. So let's take a look at the account, at some of the pages available to your broker. So here's the broker view of your account. So the broker has an account here set up, and then they can log in as you as an agent, and then they can authorize certain things. They can set global permissions. They can send you your credentials if you need to. They can edit your bio, all that sort of thing. They also have full visibility into all leads, so they can see, okay, this person's assigned to Agent A.D. Smith, and then they can do the same, really do a lot of the same things that you can with that lead. So see all the details. There isn't, unless your broker limits your view, everything that you can do, everything that they can do with a lead, you can do as well. So that's the level of functionality that you get as as an agent with an agent sub account. Okay, let's take a look here at the listing at the pages, so you can get a sense for how the broker pulls page links and then displays those on the site. So here we've got, say you've got featured open houses. This is automatic. This will show any featured open houses set up, and featured listings. If I do this, featured results, and let's see if I can find one specific to this agent. We'll go ahead with this one isn't. No, this one is possibly a listing. Yeah, this isn't. But basically the listing. Oh no, I apologize. So here's the subheader. So this is the subheader is what's showing up here because this home is A.D. Smith's listing, and so it will show right here that it will show the subheader, whatever A.D. Smith or whatever you created. It will show that on that featured page, that details page for that listing automatically. So, and most of the offices that work with us, they will add this link, this featured link, into their into the navigation, and then that will advertise those links, and then eventually, basically, they can direct people traffic to your site and to your listings that way. So that's how that works. Sold pending is very similar to the featured listing. So any sold pending listings would show up automatically on the sold pending page if you change the listing to sold pending. So you can see here is a number of sold pending listings. This shows sold. So as you can see, these are all sold pending listings. And then if they belong to an agent, so they belong to the A.D. Smith team, it shows up here as belonging to that, that agent, you, basically. So that's how that works. One thing worth noting, I want to show before I wrap it up here, I want to show you, this is a really interesting option for those of you that want to talk to your brokers about this. You have the ability to create a widget, and two things actually. They can create a widget for you that's based on a slideshow of your properties. So you could have featured agent properties and then display a widget that displays your listings and then put that onto a page. You could put that onto your page, your site, and we just launched a new feature called responsive widgets. So if you have a responsive website, you can get those responsive widgets. You can make it a responsive widget, which means that when you see basically the widget will resize itself based on the width and height of the screen. So if someone's on a mobile phone and you have a responsive website, it will resize that widget so the widget isn't keeping your site or isn't outside of the screen width of the browser. So you can just call this new, and then this is a new widget, a new responsive widget. Oh, I need the height. So let's go with 100%. Build widget. And then, see, this is so this would be essentially a new featured widget for this is our promotional, the robot that we're going to the secret's out. This is a robot that we're going to be working on for NAR. So those of you that are curious about that, we as a demo account, we kind of play around with this stuff. But this would show the property. It would show the address and basically be a widget for you for displaying all of your properties. Okay. So the other thing that you can do is you can come in here and let's go to save links. So the other thing that your office can do is create a saved link that also displays or that is assigning listings to you when somebody signs up. So if you create a saved link here and then set that up, I think I need to add some titles. So A.D. Smith. Okay. So now I've got a saved link. This link, in this case, we don't have any search results, but with the search results, this link would then essentially be assigned to anybody that goes to this link and then fills out more information about a property that isn't a featured listing of somebody else's. That lead should go to A.D. Smith. So that lead would go to you. So your broker is able to do two things that you're not able to do, and that is create a featured widget and then assign that widget, essentially assign your listings to that widget, and then give that widget code to you. The other thing that they can do is they can also, as I said, create a custom link, and then have that custom link or assign that custom link to you. Now they can also, if they have an existing custom link, they should be able to do the same with the existing custom link. So they can take an existing custom link and then have that link assigned to you as well. So again, two things that can be done by the broker to to give you more, to give you traffic, give you a way to direct more leads into their account. So everything else that you can do is, or everything else that you saw in your dashboard is really the broker can do that, and then so you have almost all of the features that a broker has over your specific account and your details, provided that your broker has set those permissions. So if they haven't set those permissions, you can contact them, find out maybe why they haven't, or it may be just an oversight, and they may just need to go in and reset those permissions so that you can have access. So that is the overview of the agent sub account, and hopefully that has been helpful to many of you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reply to the email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. That is webinars@idxbroker.com. And then again, the webinar was recorded, so you should get information. You should get that information within 24 hours about where to find the link, or you can just go to youtube.com/IDX Incorporated. Thank you for your time.